guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe swept up the pieces left behind by so many of their ancestors, and I feel like Vantikir probably saw the worst of it. He had to find a way to pick himself up after the very, very unfortunate passing of his mother, who was stolen away from us by these dark ocean waves. With her soul trapped beneath that water, that means that Moon Eye won't even be able to reach her. So her last wishes, her hopes and her dreams might truly be lost to us now. And honestly, it seems like poor Moon Eye's work is never done on this island. Though that being said, she does do her job well. She managed to ferry every last one of these souls over to their next lives, and she even crafted a little crown of bones for her son to wear too. I'm sure she's hoping that he'll be able to pick up the torch basically, once her time has passed. So maybe it's time for her to call her son out of the nest, so hopefully they can do a little bit of work together. She probably doesn't realize, of course, that he can't exactly keep up with her right now. He's a little bit too young to chase her far off into the grass, and she is a bit too devoted to her cause to look back. Right now, after all, she knows that Junebug is just about to pass. She has 2 days remaining on her lifespan, which was part of the reason why she knew that she needed to start a family right now. She needed to pass the task of keeping our tribe safe from the sleep sickness onto a brand new little baby from her line. So Cricket is going to be super important to the future of our tribe, and that's why his father is going to be right by his side, with his double claws, of course. He looks like an absolute beast, and he's going to keep many of our tribe mates safe. Coral, on the other hand, she has a unique set of skills too, but it's nothing that the rest of our tribe has ever seen before. So I'm hoping that she's going to be able to find somewhere to stick herself in, somewhere where she actually fits, lest she become an outcast in her own home. She doesn't share the same love for swamps and jungles as this family after all, and Fig is actually one of the last remaining members of the jungle-loving line, so he certainly has a lot of stories to share with little Cricket. About the safe havens, of course. Every last one of these safe havens that they followed to get to this last island in their journeys. About the giant jungle trees that our founders actually settled beneath. And maybe even about the visions of the apes that they saw a long time ago too. Both of them are going to have to keep that memory alive. And I'm sure Mowgli would be very proud of them. Even Dart and Kuroku as well. They were one of the last ones to see the jungle trees with their own eyes. And I'm sure Summer is listening to these stories very eagerly from her little perch behind her mother. She seems like the excitable sort, of course. Maybe the sort of creature who just wants to experience as much as she can out of life. Though she knows that her brother was chosen instead to take this journey. So I suppose she would probably be feeling a little bit sad, maybe even a little bit jealous, and perhaps that's what would send her off to hunt down some adventures of her own. We could at least bring her to the tall grass to do a little bit of exploring over here. It's not much, but there are some areas of the island that still haven't been touched by our creatures, so I suppose she could always discover some little treasures for herself there. And for that matter, she might even run into somebody unexpected, since Crescent is going to be spending his time right next to his nephew for now. It seems only natural to me that Crescent would be drawn toward a creature with such a spirited attitude toward life. So we'll see what becomes of their meeting soon, as we have Adder go ahead and gather up all of the food he can find. Likewise, his mother will have to take up the task that her sister left behind. We'll have her settle right down next to the skeleton over here, so she can be very close to the remains of her sister. She's actually going to be passing away in a couple of days too, but I don't feel like she would be too sad knowing that her time has almost come to a close. After all, that means that she might get the chance to be with her sister once more. And now we have this family over here who is currently being watched by Webcap. He has been keeping his eye on them for quite some time now. He's actually a little bit worried about the baby on the shores because he knows that this mother is very sickly, very weak, and it seems quite likely that Conch is going to be left all on her own pretty soon, with nobody to protect her. Nautilus is on the island, but he's so shaken up about the passing of his mate that he's probably just going to remain back here picking his berries, making sure that the bunnies don't steal every last little morsel of food on this island. I don't think he'd be able to find it in himself to take care of a brand new child. So while he mourns, and while Conch sets herself up right next to her mother on her very last day, we'll make sure that Webcap is all ready to go so he can swoop in, do a little bit of backtracking, and make sure that Conch is safe. And other than that, I think we just have you two back here who need to do a little bit of exploring yourself. Koi and Pebble have never spent too much time together, and it looks like they've picked the perfect time to do so, because we do have more bunnies stealing our berries back here. We even have tons and tons of moles. Oh my goodness. Do you think maybe one of you could grab one? The only thing is, I think they're both a little bit too weak, so they would have to be super lucky. And oh my goodness, Pebble, you actually managed to take one down. Oh, Koi is going to be so proud of you. Pebble definitely inherited his lack of strength from his father's side of the family. In fact, it looks like Koi doesn't even have a single point in strength to his name. So clearly he's not being watched over by the goddess. We're lucky that his mate had some Beragina genetics to lend to a coral instead, because that will at least ensure that she'll be able to maybe hunt down some fish in the future. And we have one little bunny over here that I'm sure Crescent has his eye on, but other than that, I think we're all out of turns. Even little Willow back here, oh my goodness, with her little spirit buddy friend. It's good to see that Inoki is still alive and well. He's still keeping Willow plenty of company, despite the fact that she is all alone on that island otherwise. But I think we're ready to skip our turns now. So we'll go ahead and pass the day and make sure that nothing dangerous is going to come slithering out of the grass too. So far, so good. It looks like the Beraginas are going to leave us alone for now. But that does mean that little Conch is all on her own now. The good news is that she does have her second gem, so we don't have to worry about her getting completely annihilated if any danger does present itself. That being said, I do still want Webcap to make his way across the water, so let's have him and Meme switch places. Meme, of course, our second beacon of adventure, and the counterpart to Vantakir himself, needs to reunite with the champion of the harvest before they can continue their mission. She was the only one who could really convince him to move on when he was so afraid to make the journey himself. So I think he's going to stay by her side for now, even though he could technically try to join all of the creatures in the north. Right now he's going to settle himself right next to his albino friend. Now Quill in the meantime can at least rest assured that her sister is safe now. She doesn't have to worry about her crossing the water anymore, so let's bring them up to the north instead, Quill and Firefly. I love how these two are kind of like complete opposites of each other. She is super dark, of course, perfect for the swamplands and the jungles that we're sure to see soon. And then Firefly is as bright and vibrant as the summer shores. They do say that opposites attract, so I wouldn't be surprised if these two form a bit of a deeper bond pretty soon. But we do have a little bunny to take care of over here. Vantakir is a bit too tired to continue his war with the bunnies, so maybe Summer could actually jump in and grab it for us. Oh, excellent. And then Adder could gather up the acorns and the meat, and then of course that last little stash of berries. As I see somebody sneaking around in the grass back here too. Could Pebble's luck continue? If we have Koi go ahead and gather up some of that meat? If that bunny shows its face again, we'll have to see if Pebble can hopefully take care of it properly. It also looks like we may have unlocked another gene in our mutation menu. So let's see if we can figure out exactly which one it was. If we go into a Crescent's mutation here... Oh, it's the high fertility gene. Excellent! That actually means that this tribe has survived for a full 100 days. So that has to be a particularly good omen for our little beacons of adventure, especially now that every last one of the creatures that we want to take are ready to go and ready to find those northern ports. So Webcap, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's have you make the journey back to Conch. She can certainly handle herself given her 8 in attack strength, but I feel like she would be very, very grateful just to have the company. She doesn't want to be left all on her own out here, especially because she's so young. Let's go ahead and sniff around too to see if she can find anything to hunt for you. We have those bunnies back here that Nautilus seems to be tracking, but we also have some more moles turning in the grass in this direction. So that might be a nice way for you to show your thanks, of course, by catching him some meat. But it also looks like we could actually use her to crack open the acorns, thanks to her cracker jaw. I was a little bit worried that she wouldn't be able to because she doesn't actually have any harvesting abilities. But it seems like that doesn't matter as far as the acorns are concerned. So we'll go ahead and scoop those up, pick up some of this grass too. And it seems like you guys are not going to go hungry one bit. We even have an extra bunny to share as well. That's good though. That's just the sort of thing that's sure to put Serpent's mind at ease, so she can also pass away in peace. Now let's continue having a Quill and Firefly move their way to the north. We'll see if maybe they could even set themselves up right next to those ports. It looks like Firefly is going to get super close. He must find some familiarity in Summer too. He might not know that they both come from the same home, but that bright fur color is sure to give them away. Now let's see if we can maneuver Ghost around so he'll still be able to hopefully watch his mother work her magic. Yeah, he can get pretty close. I think we'll settle him down right inside the grass actually, so he's being a little bit sneaky as he watches. We'll have Moon Eye go ahead and clear out some of the grass around her, maybe making a nice clear area to hopefully settle down Junebug's remains. And we'll move her right down here so she can be in between her mate and her son. She's probably a little bit sad that Summer is nowhere to be found, but she has some company of her own to attend to. I think Crescent is going to stick here a little bit longer. He was quite impressed by the way that she took down that bunny after all. For such a little thing, she sure has a lot of energy. So for now, he's willing to follow in her shadow. He knows that she wants to see if she can find anything special out in the grass, so he'll go ahead and clear out a little bit more of a pathway for her. And then I believe we just have you guys back here. Oh, there's that bunny that you were looking for. Well, let's see if you're lucky today. Oh my gosh, how many bunnies do we have over here? Wait a second. You managed to pin one underneath you and that was the one that you were looking for, so I guess you can go ahead and swipe that. Yeah, I think he might actually be able to take it out if he's lucky. We'll swipe this one again. There we go. And then your father can come right down here and pick up that meat. Pebble is actually much stronger than we gave him credit for. I guess it's just because his skills weren't suited to the shoreline after all. We figured he would be more interested in picking up the shells on the beach, but he never managed to find one. I guess his destiny was always to become a land-bound hunter instead. Now last but not least, we have Willow, who just needs to pick up some of her acorns too. We'll go ahead and knock down some more so she has plenty to scoop up as her little spirit bunny friend comes out to say hi. And then I believe we should be just about ready to skip the day. So let's see if Moon Eye can successfully ferry yet another one of these souls over to her next grand life. And as Ghost watches on too. So now he knows exactly what is to be expected of him as he moves on to the next island, because I think it's pretty clear that Moon Eye is hoping that he'll take her place. She has far too much work to continue on this one after all. She needs to figure out if there's any way for her to save the creature who drowned in the waves. And I wonder if maybe that unrest that is sure to be lingering right around Vantikir might be something that would draw her attention too. I suppose we'll have to wait until they meet at least, so let's make sure that Meme can make her way to the north too. She is unfortunately a little bit slower than many of our other creatures in the tribe, and that's all thanks to those Berryina genetics. But Vantikir doesn't mind. He has plenty of berries to keep him full, and that gives Adder the opportunity to maybe mourn over his own mother as well. We'll have him scoop up some of these last berries and then settle himself down next to all of their skeletons, his aunt and his mother, and the berry bushes that they were so fond of. Meme has one more turn to make that'll settle herself right down next to Vantikir. How adorable is this? It's pretty clear that our two champions, our little beacons, are pretty much inseparable at this point. Quill should be able to make it right up next to a little Firefly as well. And for that matter, Firefly could actually set himself up right on these ports. We'll make sure that he saves a spot for Quill, of course. I think they'll want to settle down together. And now it's time for Moon Eye to officially pass on her space to her son. So we'll bring Ghost right next to, how about Cricket? We'll bring him right here for now so we can get to know somebody who is almost the exact same age as he is. Oh, they were born on the same day. So I bet they're going to become pretty fast friends. Ghost, of course, is a little bit more reserved, just like Mamba. He doesn't talk too much, and that might just be because he has so much responsibility on his mind. So he probably needs somebody like Cricket to help balance him out, maybe help keep him grounded. Now Summer, needless to say, is very, very happy and very grateful too that somebody is playing along with her. So let's bring her over here to do a little bit more snooping around. Oh, I definitely saw a bunny there. We might actually be able to have Crescent catch it if we're lucky. I think it has unfortunately eaten all of these berries, so it's probably not going to be lured back in this direction. But it was a very good find, Summer. That's just the sort of thing that we were hoping you were going to discover, a little bunny nest way off in the grass. Now I think we're just about out of turns. We just have you two back here now. Oh, it is such a good thing that you came here for Conch because Nautilus has already passed away. The poor thing, he never did get the chance to find peace. It must make this island feel pretty lonely now, but at least these two still have each other. And I mean, there's always the chance that maybe Webcap could be the one to start a brand new little line of mushrooms. It's been quite a while since our last mushroom harvest, so maybe it's time for a change. Now Willow's journey is just about over too, because pretty soon we won't have to worry about picking up every last one of these acorns with her. And her little bunny friend seems to be, oh, I thought they were a bit further away, but apparently not. That bunny is always right by her side. But now it's time to skip the day again on what's hopefully going to be one of our last turns on this island. So now Summer is all grown up way over here in the back, and unfortunately it looks like another drought has touched our land again. So it might be time for Vantigir to do some serious soul searching to try to figure out what exactly is causing the god of the harvest to be so very upset with him. But Summer being all grown up now means that she could potentially have a baby of her own. And Crescent is getting very, very old now, so it would be a little bit of a waste to take him to the next island. And beyond that, I don't think he would want to leave behind his sister, who has mysteriously passed away overnight. Was all of this death maybe too much for her to handle? Was it too much for her to ferry so many souls at once? I mean, look at this, Koi has passed, Junebug just passed before. I think maybe it may have just taken too much of a toll on her own soul too. So that leaves Ghost with a lot of questions to take with him to the next island, whether or not he's going to meet the same fate, and that leaves Crescent with a very important decision to make too. So I think at this point, he's going to offer to pass his seat on to Summer. Her sunny disposition has certainly charmed him, her love of life and all of the adventures that they've yet to find. But beyond that, I'm actually thinking that maybe we should have them breed first. Now I know they do have a similar immunity gene, which could become an issue. Their baby might actually end up sick. But that being said, they also both have the stinky tail in their genetics, and that's going to be so important for us to keep. The Keeper of Life needs to protect his future generations too. So I think this is going to be his one way to have a family of his own. The one thing we'll have to adjust is their mutation menus. Crescent does have the hemophilia gene, so we need to snag that normal blood clotting trait first. And then for Summer, I would like to make sure that we place the mask into her traits, because I would of course love to see the mask get carried on throughout all of their future generations. That seems like something that would be very, very special in their line, especially since Moon Eye's mask was what kind of governed her powers. So hopefully if we're lucky, we'll see the same sort of mask on Crescent's future baby. We'll go ahead and have him breed with her, so she can still use her turns to make it over to those ports. We might even have a Coral go ahead and light up the way. Oh my goodness, who on earth is this? We have a random wandering creature watching us leave, who looks very, very similar to some of our Summer Shores babies. Oh, that's interesting. Such a beautiful golden color of fur. Well, she won't be taking up any extra spots inside our swampy ports, but we can at least invite her to the tribe so she can keep some of the creatures who are staying behind some company. Like Pebble, for example, and Adder too. I'm sure they'll be super happy to see a brand new face. But let's bring Summer right up here next to a little Firefly. And then I believe we are just waiting on our 2 beacons of adventure now, our 2 little champions. We'll just scoot Quill right up here to settle herself down next to her handsome friend Firefly. And then let's cross our fingers that Vantikir will be able to ship Meme off to the ports too. Let's see if she's going to be fast enough to set herself up on this turn. She actually is. Oh my goodness, guys, here it comes. We're finally about to set sail and discover a brand new island together. Our beacons will be ready to light up the way for all of our creatures to follow, especially if it gets a little bit tricky to keep track of everybody in the swamps. It's going to be dark, it's going to be twisted and scary and so easy to get lost, but that bright fur color on both of our champions will always lead them to safety. So let's bring Crescent over to the shores to wave goodbye to his family, not only to a little ghost, of course, who he took such good care of, but also to Summer and their potential new baby. We'll bring Adder up here too so he can say goodbye to Mamba as she gets ready to lead us off on our next adventure. And last but not least, a little Pebble over here who still has some moles to try to gather up of his own. He can wave goodbye to Coral, and he can get to know this brand new creature too, little Kosira. Little Kosira who surprised us with her frog toes right at the end of this journey. We have Conch and we have a Webcap who will live out a much, much happier life now that they're together. And we have Willow who has nothing to fear now that she has her little bunny friend watching over her too. So I think the very last thing we have to do is make sure that none of our creatures over here have leeches, because we do have a little bit of an issue. Oh, it looks like it's Mamba. Well, that's not good. Fig, could you please take that off of your leader? We don't need our bluebird feather heir taking any extra damage, especially not now when we're just getting ready to leave. So I guess she's going to do the honors, and I'll see you guys as soon as we make it to our next swampy island. Alright guys, we've made it, and it's already looking much, much more dangerous here than it was on our previous island. Not only do we have this giant swampland, but we also have yet another tiny little version of a jungle, and it seems like we also have access to some of those stinky little fruits too. But those might be helpful, because if I remember correctly, we actually need to pick some of those fruits in order to hopefully mutate the stinky tail. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, perform collect on smelly fruit tree 30 times. So this is going to be a bit tricky. We'll have to send some particularly brave creatures over there to do the job, because it's also right next to the ape spawning tree. And if we do have the smelling ape in our midst, then there's no way we're going to be able to get away from them in time. But that being said, we also have a little tree over here too that might just be the safe haven that our jungle-loving family is looking for. I mean, naturally they're going to be drawn toward this side of the island just to experience the jungle for themselves. But I think this might be a good place for them to set up first, especially since it's so close to their main camp. As far as the ports go, I think we're going to want to go to this island next. That's the only area we have to travel to, aside from this one with all the flowers, and I'm pretty sure that this will just lead us back to an easier island. So we want to seek out those harder places. That's what's going to get us to Adam's Island faster. But I mean, first and foremost, we just need to survive, and we do have a couple of babies that need to be born on this island too. So let's sniff around for a moment and see what we can find. Alright, we have a little crabbit out here that maybe some of our warriors would like to try to take care of. And then we also have a berry bush on this side of the island. So I wonder if that's going to be a poison berry bush, or if maybe we'll get lucky and we can pick it normally. Oh no, Firefly, that is definitely not your type of berry bush. So let's bring a Vantikir over here to do the honors. He should definitely be the very first one to pick the berries on this brand new island. This is what he's been training for. Now let's pull our expectant mothers out of the swamplands too to make sure that they're all safe. We'll bring Mamba right over to the tree, in fact, because I'm sure our jungle-loving family would let her know that that's the safest place to have her baby. We'll go ahead and set up a nest right here on her last turn. And then hopefully Summer will be able to get super close too. There we go. We can make a little ring of nests actually, so all of our babies will remain safe. Though we're going to have to watch out for this one. Oh, Summer, maybe you shouldn't have placed your nest there. Oh no, I hope her baby, if it does have double immunity genes, isn't going to end up getting a Mamba's baby sick. That would be super, super sad. We'll have to cross our fingers that that is not the case. And meanwhile, Coral, it looks like you have plenty of water to dive straight into. Oh, she's going to be so happy, and not only that, but she might even be able to enlist the help of a friend, because it looks like we have some water-breathing plants down here. We could have some of our creatures snag them up from the shores, and then join her in the deepest portions of the waves. We'll just have to make sure that they don't get too deep, of course, because if they're not good at swimming, they might risk running out of the water-breathing plant before they're able to get back to dry land. But that's a good sign for her. We were worried that she would end up being a bit of an outcast, so as long as she can find somebody brave enough to take up that task with her, I think she's going to be okay. Now Cricket, on the other hand, is going to have to stay a little bit closer to the swamplands to make sure that he keeps all of those pesky bugs at bay. Oh my gosh, and look at that, he found a permanent nest in the swamps too. Oh, you are definitely suited for the swamplands, little one. I bet that's the nest that he's going to try to use in the future, if he does decide to start a little family of his own. And likewise, we'll bring his father up here to keep him safe too. Make sure nothing is lurking out there that we need to be made aware of, while Meme and Quill join the mothers to see the birth of the very next generation. Oh, and look at this, we have one of the little clown kois as well. Oh, Ghost isn't going to be able to scoop them up, I'm sure. They are a little bit trickier than that. But it's nice to see that we have some extra different types of fish. That's sure to keep Coral satisfied. So in the next episode, we will see the birth of the very first creatures to grace the swampy island. It's always super, super exciting to start exploring a new place, of course. And I'm looking forward to seeing where our tribe's new journeys are going to take them. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys!